Hey everybody, welcome back to Big Hair Gaming. We're here in Season 2, covering our favorite game, Last War. Finally, Season 2 has gotten started. I am really excited by all the new stuff that's been added. I'm really excited by the new mechanics we get to play around with. It looks like there's some neat new events and stuff like that. I'm excited. I'm really looking forward to it. But if you also started very recently, you might be looking and going through and like, oh man, like there's so much stuff. Like what should I be doing? You might be feeling a little bit overwhelmed by just like the magnitude of choice that you now have. So we're gonna go through like where your focus should be, what stuff you should be focusing on, all that sorts of stuff, and we'll dig into the nitty gritty and kind of give you some basic guidelines for your day one or your first couple days, more realistically, plans on what to do. So let's jump right into it. And speaking of jump right into it, first I'm going to see if I can grab that. I'll pay attention to that. So first, when you land, what you're going to want to do is you want to go to your search tab here. And what you're going to do first is you want to start attacking these little zombie guys, the dudes that we usually ignore for like most of the season, because they tend to be of no consequence except for the beginning, because this is how we're going to get our first taste of coal for the season. First, let me grab this little here. Oop, almost too soon. There we go. But let's get back to it. So first, we're going to attack these little guys here because this is how we're going to get coal. Um, and the way that this works, you should be familiar, is that every time that you beat that kind of zombie for the first time, you're going to get that coal reward. Once you beat it before, you're like, again, you're just going to get the usual stuff, some battle data, blah blah blah. And this is a coca bean, which I think is for the Valentine's Day event. We'll talk about the Valentine's Day event in another video, but we'll just want to keep it focused on the season 2 stuff. So you're going to get coal for that, and you're going to get coal for doing each of these and killing each zombie type. And you'll be able to kill like the first couple of levels even without having any resistance. For some of them, you might see that it says like, oh, like, I'm in a resistance, virus resistance deficit here, and I'm going to do, minus 80, like 86%. Or minus 86% of my total damage or whatever, you can still probably win. So like, don't worry about that. Like, just go for it. Like, it's not, the troop cost isn't that bad even if you do lose, but just go for it. So you can probably beat like the first probably 5 or 6 levels of each of those zombies, and that's going to give you a respectable amount of coal. Hey y'all, if you're enjoying the video and it's helping you out, entertaining, all that stuff, feel free to hit the like button, subscribe, drop a comment, and share it with your alliance. Let's get back to it. Now, unfortunately, you won't be able to do anything with it for a short period of time because getting your furnace is tied to a global event across all the war zones in your Season 2 collective of servers. I think it's usually 8 servers that are in each season. Might be 10 this time. But I'm going to say it's, let's see. Yeah, okay, yeah, it's 8. But so across those 8 servers, you all get those kind of unlocks at the same time, and that's going to be here in the World Dynamics tab. Once you go to this Season 2 Polar World page, it's going to be this little trophy in the top left-hand corner. So you're going to hit that, and this will give you the breakdown of all the new stuff that becomes available to you every week of the season. So first is that you'll get the ability to unlock the new Season 2 hero banner. There's a couple of special extra heroes that you can get from that. This will unlock that, but that's not as important right now. But what is important is the high heat furnace. Now, everybody's going to be able to donate an amount of metal towards this, and once you hit 1 million metal across all the relevant war zones that are in your cluster, then you'll be able to get the high heat furnace, and this is what's going to increase your virus resistance and is also going to keep you warm in the cold. But you cannot upgrade your high heat furnace without a titanium alloy factory, which I'm just going to call factories here on out because I don't want to keep saying titanium alloy every time. But you're going to get those factories, and after 3 million people donate to that, you should contribute to it if you want it to happen a little bit faster. Then you'll get that, and the last thing that'll happen is the Alliance Furnace, but I'll talk about that at the end because that pertains to kind of everybody. Later, you'll also get the village and the town, but we'll talk about that later as well. That's not as important right now. But let's focus on the high heat and the factory. So let's go back to our base, and we'll take a look at both of those. So the high heat furnace you'll get first. And basically, what this does, if you hit the little flame icon, this shows you if your furnace is on, what your output of your temperature will be if you turn it on, and then if you put it into overdrive, what it'll be as well. And I have like a little bit of a boost due to my profession because there's a perk that you get if you overdrive it, where I get that an extra 2 degrees off of it. But overdrive, as you might expect, does increase your coal usage. It looks like it's like about 5 times greater, a little bit less. Um, to kick it in overdrive. Overdrive is really only important like when you're in an active blizzard and the weather is really really cold and you're in danger of freezing. Fortunately, also it'll tell you how many hours of coal that you have available with you. But fortunately, you can keep it off and then have it automatically turn on in a blizzard to just turn on like regular. And you can also have it configured to go into auto drive during the blizzard and auto turn off when the blizzard ends as well. So if you want to make sure that your base doesn't freeze, you can use your high heat furnace to make sure you can configure it to make sure that it stays on when you want it to. Now, that's the other purpose of the high heat furnace. Additionally, every time that you level it up, it's going to increase your virus resistance, and that's what's going to let you kill more zombies and fight more Doom Elites, as well as start to approach being able to take over territory. And we'll talk about that a little bit more. But this is what you want to level up in order to push those numbers higher so you can fight more stuff and get more stuff. Now, the factories here, the titanium alloy factories, this one you'll unlock in the way that we described a little bit earlier. And basically what your focus here is, in order to get all of your other factories, is that you need to get each successive factory to level 15. So basically what that means is that the first factory you get, you want to try to get that to level 15 as quick as you can. Then with the next factory you get, you want to get that to level 15 as quick as you can. And that will unlock number 3, and then once level 3 gets to level 15, that'll unlock level number 4. And basically, once you get all 4, then you can start leveling them up evenly and make all of them 16, and all of them 17, and so on and so forth. You can also, if you want to grab the weekly pass, I recommend grabbing it, especially for the early game, just because that having that extra capability and flexibility is just going to increase your damage output for the early game, which will be really valuable depending upon how tumultuous the politics of your server are. Some folks might be playing on a server where your server president and a couple of the higher other alliances may have already planned ahead and figured out how they want to break up the highest level buildings for season 2. You might be on a server where the president says, hey, if you get there and you beat the people who were trying to take it, then it's yours. Like, maybe that's how it rolls. Or maybe you just go into season 2 and it's just whatever happens, happens. That's totally fine. But whatever the case is, if there are any anomalies, no matter what kind of political situation your server's in, you want to be able to have the virus protection and the virus resistance rather to do what you want to do. So if you say that like this is the place that our alliance is going to take this territory, you want to make sure that you have the resistance and the strength in order to back it up so that you can get there before anybody else does. If they have an eye on taking some of the stuff that you're aiming at. So that's how this all nitty gritty is going to work. The last other thing I want to mention is that the way that you upgrade your titanium alloy factory is going to be through acquiring coal. And this is why it was really important for us to start killing those zombies and those Doom Elites early on so that we can get enough coal to start to level it up the moment that it becomes available. And like that's the plan there. For upgrading the high heat furnace, that's what we're going to use the titanium alloy for. So just in case I didn't say it before, if that was unclear, that's the relationship of how you level those things up. However, you'll probably note that like after you kill your first couple of waves of little baby zombies and the Doom elites, you don't have a way to get a lot of coal, and that's where taking the territory comes in, because basically this mutated zombie bear robot bear thing is sitting on a coal drilling mine or whatever, a coal mine, and once your alliance takes that, then you'll have like steady access to being able to acquire coal for everybody in your alliance. But until then, you kind of have like a limited access to coal. So what I recommend, and then what my alliance is doing, is that like we're not heating our bases right now, and we're not making use of our alliance furnace because we have a limited access to coal, and we don't want to run out and then need it for one reason or another in order to take this stronghold. Now, the way that I understand it is that you do get like a little bit of a buff for your character being warm, and it kind of goes through that in this little icon breakdown. The optimal temperature for you to be is over 20 degrees, but less than 40 degrees in this happy zone. If you're too warm, then your base will kick off a timer at 40 degrees Celsius where you'll catch on fire. If you're too cold, the same thing happens where a timer starts off, and if it's under 20 degrees Celsius, then you'll freeze, which stops you from sending out rallies and doing some other stuff. Cool. Now, the last thing that I have to talk about is the Alliance Furnace. I said we'd get back to that, and now this is us getting back to it. So, basically, this is a giant furnace that you can see takes this big area here. I actually went through and just kind of measured it using the size of my base. But it's basically a 12 by 12 area that you can fit stuff in, minus this little area here down in the middle, which I'm going to call like roughly like 2 bases, approximately. But it's basically a 12 by 12 area that you can fit your alliance folk into. If you do the like alliance based teleport here, you can probably fit almost everybody in, but like it tends to be a little bit jank. But there is enough space where like if people manually teleport in and they kind of smush together a little bit more, and there is space for everybody for sure. But basically this is just a tool by which it's a giant furnace that you can turn on and turn off at will. You can donate your coal into it, and you can get some amount of points for that. I think you also do get like a little reward for how much you turn on. But basically, it's just a giant area that you can use to increase the temperature of everybody's base by a certain amount. Now, the amount of heat that you get from this isn't as good as like your own furnace. Like you can see here, like if this is turned on, it increases by 3 degrees. If you hit the overdrive, you get an extra 6 degrees. So it's just kind of something like to add to your base's heat already. So like if you already have like your furnace going, or if like you just need a small little boost, like you compare that to the 8 degrees Celsius that we get from doing this compared to the 3. Like even if you overdrive the Alliance furnace, it's like not as good as like your regular furnace. But what it does do is it keeps everybody warm, so you can help out. Like if people are a little low on coal, they can use that as a little boost to pull their temperature up. It's also really helpful when there's a blizzard going on because you're going to need like every little bit to kind of keep everybody's bases warm. Otherwise, you have to go around and spend a bunch of energy and time, going through to defrost everybody's base after the fact, which is not as valuable. But basically, that's what your Alliance furnace is for. I assume that once you get more of the rare soil or whatever it's called, I forget. Rare soil. Once you get more rare soil, you can upgrade the base, and I basically say that right there. It tells you, and it gives you a bunch of your stats and all that other stuff, and then you can also relocate the furnace as well to move it along. And basically, what you're going to do is like in season 1, where your alliance is going to move closer and closer towards the central capital. You're going to need to move your furnace along with your alliance as well to make sure that, like, you guys have a warm spot, and it's going to become more valuable and more beneficial as you go along and get that rare soil. So yeah. But that's going to be our general overview. Basically, what you want to make sure that you're doing is you're going through, you're attacking those little zombies, getting some early coal, attack the large doom elites when you can. Once you get your high heat furnace, turn that on. Start boosting that up once you get your titanium, all that sorts of stuff, and then in a couple of days you'll be able to start attacking the various strongholds and cities nearby to start to grab some of that, and then you'll be able to generate your own coal, so you won't be in such a tight spot. But right now, in the beginning of the game, I think they give you enough opportunities to get coal that it's not really going to be such a big deal. That's going to bring this video to a close. If this video helped you out, if you learned some stuff, entertaining, all that sorts of stuff, feel free to hit the like button. Feel free to drop a comment, share it with your alliance mates who are also going into season 2, and feel free to subscribe. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you in the next one.